for the Nevermore narrative with your host, Count David von Ravenstein.
Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was like, oh, I thought you were gonna laugh.
For some reason, I changed the title of the episode and everything, and for some reason it says Speakeasy Gentleman, so I'm changing that right now. But go ahead.
Oh, boy. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. This is our very first show of the Nevermore narrative, starring me, your host, David. And then, wait, Josh, are you sharing the screen? Because I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, well, down off to my right? Right? I can't see.
I can see David in my top right.
Yeah, that's all I see. And then,
yeah, that's all I see.
Okay, anyway. I'm here. It's okay.
Josh is here. He's going to be the tech guy. You might remember him from the Speakeasy Gentleman, which we do as well, but he's sort of taking Pierce's place in this one. Pierce is too scared to do something like this. Glad that Kayty's here, though. You guys might remember her from another episode that we had previously. She's not too scared. She loves this kind of shit. You like this shit, right?
I love scary shit. Halloween's my favorite time of year. Ghosts are great. It's all awesome. I love it.
Everything. So the premise of this show is we decided that we're going to have, just talk about weird, spooky stuff, paranormal, supernatural, aliens, afterlife, all sorts of things, fucking conspiracy theories. So, but I was thinking about going for every week it's going to be a different theme, but we could always touch back on those themes no matter what. So, but tonight's theme, since it's the eve before All Hallows Eve, wow, that came out so weird.
Wait, I thought All Hallows Eve is today because it's the eve. Or is All Hallows Day, is that November 1st or what?
Shit, I don't even know what's going on.
Halloween is the 31st.
Look, tonight's Devil's Night, so that's all that matters. So we decided to keep the theme Devil theme. Like, ooh. So, I don't even really know. I should have looked up into this. The only reason why I call it Devil's Night is because of that movie The Crow.
Really?
Yeah. Remember the very beginning, T-Bird and the gang? Yeah. I don't know if there's actual...
It's worth a Google.
Yeah, that scene in the beginning with T-Bird and the gang when they're fucking shit up. He's like, here's the Devil's Night, my new favorite holiday. And he lights up his cigar and they just wreck an old arcade place or whatever and they blow it up.
It says that it's associated with vandalism and arson, the Night of Mischief in Detroit, Michigan, that was held from the 70s to the 90s.
Holy shit.
What I'm seeing on Wikipedia says Devil's Night dates as early as 1940.
Ooh. Oh, I'm on the same page you are. I'm just reading the top.
Oh, okay.
So what are we doing here? Why don't we film this live? Let's take it to a live stream and let's all go start fires somewhere. Is that cool?
Yeah. Run amok.
Run them up. No one can stop us. Dude, next year, let's start it up, man. Shit. That'd be a cool thing. So, Kayti, you said you obviously, you love this kind of shit. So wait, do you believe in, like, ghosts or what?
Oh, yeah. They're super real. Ghosts, specters, spirits.
You've seen them before?
Demons. I have had, like, one or two weird encounters that I try to tell myself are, like, in my head, but I don't think they are. And I've had a couple friends that have had some really creepy experiences too. So, yeah.
What exactly happened in your experiences?
For me personally, the first time I went to the haunted hotel, I think in Coronado, California, with a friend, and we were like trying to catch ghosts on film and taking pictures, and we had found one we had a Polaroid, and there was like this weird, like foggy, almost looked like a face, but it wasn't super distinct.
Like a smoke and someone kind of ran their hand?
Yeah, like it was just like kind of like a faded, weird, like it looked like something was in front of the lens, so it made it kind of foggy, and you could kind of make out like little eyes and stuff.
Damn.
And we were super excited about it, and then we woke up the next morning to leave, and we were packing up, and the Polaroid was missing, and we never found it.
What the fuck?
So it's like, yeah, it like disappeared, and her and her mom were the only ones in the room. So it was really freaky. We never found it. And like, you know, my friends were like, oh, she's probably playing a prank on you. She's probably just, like, took it. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, she was really freaked out, too. I don't know. It was weird. And then my grandma used to live with me and my dad back in the day. And she was, like, bedridden, and we would take care of her. And her room was, like, directly across the hall from mine. And we would leave the hall light on just in case we needed to go, like, help her out or anything in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And outside my door, I saw, like, the shadow under the door because I was, like, watching TV, just hanging out. And I was like, oh, that must just be my dad, you know, no big deal. I didn't hear anything or, like, hear him say anything. So I was like, maybe he's just checking on her or something. And I was just watching it, and it was there for a while, and it was, like, moving. And then it looked like it came up to the door, but the door never opened. And then it went away, and I was like, okay, that's just my dad. Went to sleep, didn't think anything of it. And then the next day, like, he picked me up from school or something, and I was like, oh, yeah, I never asked you, is Grandma okay? Like, I saw you go check on her last night. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, I saw you in the hallway. Like, I didn't hear you. I didn't talk to you, but I saw you there. And he was like, I never got out of bed. Like, I went to bed at whatever time, and that's that. So I was like, okay, that's freaky. So... It's spooky. Pierce says I'm imagining it because he doesn't believe in this shit, but, you know.
He doesn't believe in any of this? We were just talking about the fucking ghost last week. Or this Sunday.
He said that he's had some weird things happen, but he doesn't believe that it's actual, like, ghosts. He thinks that it's, like, all in your head. It's all psychological type thing.
Well, honestly, I've come across some people that are like that. There's some that believe...
Yeah.
Either you believe it or you're in denial of it. Because some people have such traumatic experiences when they're younger that they just try to retreat back into their minds, say, it's just all in my head, it's not real, and they kind of grow up believing that. They're like, oh, well, this happened, but obviously, you know, it wasn't real.
Yeah.
But Pierce is probably just in denial. I think he doesn't really want to accept the fact that shit like that is real.
Yeah, they played with a Ouija board. We had, like, a coworker party, and I don't like Ouija boards. I believe in demons. When you mess with a Ouija board, you can't, like, pick and choose what comes through to you. It's anything free for all. And I'm like, not fucking with that shit. I will fuck with ghosts. They're peaceful most of the time. They can be a little creepy, but demons, no thank you. I'm not about that. And so they were, like, playing with it when we left. And they were, like, kind of freaked out, but he was like, oh, no, it was totally fake. It's totally fake. And, you know.
I don't know. I've known people to use Ouija boards, and they can't get rid of them after they use it. So if you're the actual owner, you can throw it away, but it comes back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my brother he still has his old Ouija board. I don't know. I think he was, like, a teenager or, like, in his early 20s when he got it or whatever. But I remember my sister saying that he tried throwing it away. The next day he came home from school or whatever, and, like, it was just sitting on his bed. He tried giving it away and tried burning it, and it would not burn. The Ouija board. Like, the fuck? So I remember he had it buried in his closet when he was still living with us back at the old apartments we used to live at.
So not the closet that you're in right now?
No. In this closet is a bunch of old stuff. Mostly my clothes and stuff.
You really in a closet?
No.
In a closet?
It was a reference to our other show.
Yeah, that people can't get enough of. They gotta come up with new material like we do. Shit. Alright. So, that was, your first experience? You have any other stories, or?
My friend's aunt, like, I was raised with this girl, so I know her family really well.
Is she cute?
My friend? Or her aunt?
Or the ghost?
Yo, the ghost.
I didn't know the ghost personally, but her aunt and her uncle moved into a new house, and her uncle traveled a lot for work. And so the weekend that they moved in, he was out of town, and we, like, helped her aunt kind of move in and unpack a little bit. And I guess how she tells it, which I wasn't there for it, but she was really super freaked out. She was in the kitchen. They had set up only a little bit of furniture. She had her, like, most prized vase or whatever on her kitchen table. And she was in the kitchen doing something in a completely different room. And all of a sudden she hears a glass, like, shatter. And she's like, what the hell? Like, they don't have animals. There's no one else that lives there. So she goes into the other room, and the vase that was sitting in the middle of the table is now smashed in the corner of the room a good couple feet away. And she was like, what the fuck? Like, she was super freaked out about it. She called her husband, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't like this house. And they moved out 2 days later. So,
wow, they were that committed to moving out. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They would do a turnaround.
Would have been like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like me, I'd be like, this fucking sucks, and I'd be like, not sleeping very well. Yeah, but I'd still fucking stay there. Like, I don't know how quickly I'd move. I guess it really depended on what it would do, because when I watch like Conjuring and shit, I'm like, bitch, get out the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I personally think that something else happened that she didn't ever tell anyone. She probably told her husband, but after that, she stayed with her sister, who was my friend's mom. And then she stayed in the house one night after that, and the next day was when she called her husband and said, we're moving. We're not staying here. I'm not staying here ever again. And that was it. So I don't know what else happened, but that would wig me out pretty bad, especially being alone and not having anybody that stays there with you, and, you know.
Yeah, that'd be enough to move.
A little freaky.
But then also, I'm like one of those guys, like, you know, if you move, it's like, oh god, I moved in, finally, drained, exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to pack up again and just go.
Yeah.
Like, stick it
That's
out.
what I'm saying. It must have been really bad for her. They didn't even have their stuff really unpacked all the way, and she didn't even give it a chance. It was like that night, 2 more days, so 3 days total, and she was like, nope, we're done. I'm out of here.
Is she very, like, spiritual or, like, you know, believes in paranormal and things like that?
No, not at all.
So she just like, nope, fuck it.
Yeah, she's, I think, I don't know, personally, in my, like, soul, I believe that something else happened that really got to her. Because we saw her after that first event, and she was pretty wigged out, but she was in that stage where she's, like, telling herself, like, oh, something happened, it's probably explainable, and I just don't know it. And then, you know, she went back, and that was that. So I think she went back, and something else happened that she has never told anybody.
Damn.
Yep. Probably wigged her out that bad.
Get her on the show.
Yeah.
I will try.
Yes.
I can ask.
So you mentioned something breaking, and I remember there was this one time I was in Victorville, which is freaking terribly haunted house. I talked about it on the Speakeasy Gentleman, but I was playing chess with Kenny, and we had glass chess pieces, and one of them seriously just like popped and exploded like right in my fucking hand. But there was something else that triggered it first, like well, I wasn't touching it. Never mind. I moved it, and then it just like someone shot it with the fucking BB gun. It just like the glass piece just exploded. But we heard something else, like the door fucking closed by itself or something. There was some like creepy sound that just happened, and then the fucking piece exploded, just out of nowhere. But that was probably, I mean, that had to have been the most haunted house that I've ever lived at. And the last time I looked it up on Google Maps, it's like fucking abandoned. Like somebody bought it, and then after they bought it, they resold it for like cheap as shit. Just it was probably your friend's aunt or whatever. It's probably the same house. But they resold it. They resold it for cheap as shit because they wanted to get out of it. So when they finally got out of it, it's like the windows were boarded up and all kinds of stuff. Like nobody wants to live there.
Damn, dude. Condemned and shit, huh?
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know. I think the most recent thing that happened to me was in my room. I don't have closet doors because I have a fear of closets. Like, I don't like I'm claustrophobic. I don't like being trapped in places where I can't get out of. So I have no closet doors, which is perfect for me. And then there's a shelf, obviously, above where the clothes hang. And in a box, I have a box of hats that I usually wear, you know, from time to time, whatever I feel like wearing.
You're a man with many hats.
Yeah, I do. I do love hats. This box of hats came flying out, like, it just shot out of the shelf. And it's never done that before. There's nothing to push it or, you know, set it off. It's not even like at the edge of the shelf. It's like it sits there, you know. It's not like it's leaning over the edge or whatever. It just shot out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
you said it was a book?
No, a box of hats.
Oh, box. Oh, they must be really popular hats then.
Yeah, flying off the shelf, right?
Flying off the shelf. You beat me to it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Can't open. All
we
right,
got
so
haunted at our Starbucks store too. I don't know if Pierce ever told you guys about that.
No,
Yeah.
probably because he doesn't believe in it. But yeah, you could tell.
wait, what happened?
He was actually shaking. Ask him about this shit. He was shaking that shit.
He's at work right now, listening to this. He's probably like,
Probably.
son of a bitch, why'd you remind me?
No, it was super weird because like we had like little things that were happening, and it reminded me when you said that something flew off the shelf because we had this like little Tupperware thing that had stir sticks in it. And it was sitting on the counter, and no one was over there. Like, not a single person. There's no air draft. There's nothing. And this thing straight up just flew off the counter and, like, spilled out onto the floor. And everyone stopped and just looked at it and was like, what the fuck was that? And then later that night, we were trying to, like, clean and stuff, and Pierce was in the bathroom, and he was like, dude, these little things on the wall are open. What are these? And I was like, what are you talking about? We have these little, like doors in the wall where they can, like, do pipe maintenance, but they're never open. And they were both of them in both bathrooms were open. And he was like, what the hell? I was like, oh, probably just the kids or some stupid customer or whatever. Just close them. So he closed one of them, mopped it, cleaned it up. And then he went back into the other one, and it was open again. And he was like, what the hell? And he went back into the other one to check that, and that one was open again, too.
Damn, dude, your story is
like, dude, what the fuck? And he straight came out, he's like, I can't even clean the bathrooms. And he, like, showed me his hands were shaking. He's like, I'm so freaked out right now, I can't do this.
See? I told you he's in denial. He just doesn't want to accept it.
Probably. That's what I tell him. Because, like, essentially energy can't ever be destroyed or renewed. It is just released and, like, regenerated into the universe. And that's what your soul is. It's energy. So it's always out there. It just depends on what it's doing.
I think you're haunted by an angry customer who's like, you didn't get this coffee right. God damn it.
We thought it was this girl that was working
I said,
there.
no whip.
As soon as she started working there, we started getting haunted. And then she got fired. And it hasn't happened since.
Wow.
So we think a ghost is following her.
It's following her around.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was super. We were looking up stories, like, maybe is she, like, a reincarnate? Like, what's going on? So
Get her on the show.
I don't know if I talked to her. She got fired, and it was really awkward, but...
there was this one time when I was working at a loop shop, and I was closing up at night, so it was just me. It was probably like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I was walking across, like, making sure all the doors were locked, just checking the locks, and a freaking socket just went flying across the floor, like, like sliding, like someone just chucked it and slid it across. Yeah, and it was, how like metal sounds when it's like hitting concrete, how it was like chinging on the ground, and it was like someone was fucking with me, dude. There was no way it could have fallen from anywhere and had the momentum to slide across the floor like that.
That far?
I mean? It had to have. Well, no, when something falls, it doesn't fly sideways. It falls straight down, bounces a couple times maybe. But this thing was, it was thrown across the floor and just like slid across the ground from one side of the shop to the complete opposite side.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're interacting with our comments on this show or not, but
yeah. What are the comments?
So Pierce said eye shaking. That's all he said. I'm not really sure what that means.
Like eye shaking? What?
He commented on, he can't even finish typing. Now he's scared. Thanks a lot, Katie. Josh checking behind him, LOL, because baby Josh knocked on the door. So I was like, I muted and I was like, what do you want? But it looked like I was like scared looking behind me. And then Kenny just joined. So, hey, Kenny, what's going on, bud? He was here Sunday. Now he's here today, man.
Yeah, but he still doesn't. That's your job. He doesn't want to do his job for our other show.
And then Katie writes, Pierce, aren't you working? Oh, wait, you're his boss? Are you his boss?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Well, I don't care if he's fucking around at work.
Don't watch Katie. Nate's watching from work, too. What's up, buddy?
Nate? I think another thing that happened was, like, rather recently. It was me, my sister, and my cousin Paul when he was visiting earlier this year, actually. We were all in the living room, just kind of, like, watching TV, drinking a little bit, and just... I forgot we were watching a movie, but we were just kind of like into the movie, not paying attention. And it was like 11, maybe midnight. And the house, you know how quiet my house is when everyone's asleep and shit. Like you could hear almost a pin drop. So what we heard, all of us heard, sounded like silverware falling from a countertop in the kitchen and it hitting the tile and kind of bouncing around. So then there was no one that got up. We were the only ones that were up. No one else got in or went to the kitchen, whatever. We walked around, like I turned on the lights, checked underneath the table, around the drawers, we checked everywhere on the floor of the kitchen and could not find anything, like a fork or a spoon, because that's what it kind of sounded like when it dropped. And we were like, what the fuck? It was loud enough that we all heard it, and we all kind of like looked at each other like, the fuck is going on? So I don't know. My house is haunted too, but someone's mad.
I think you got somebody friendly at your house. So I don't think it's any.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing dangerous. There's no insidious.
No, not at all. It's family.
Yeah.
It's all family. Yeah. So, anywho, let's get on with the theme for the evening: Devil's Night. So I have 3 sort of stories that you guys can, fiddle around with while I tell them to you. The first one is an urban legend. It's been told, plenty of times over, kind of thing. Different versions here that vary. But this one's called Dancing with the Devil. So the story that I was familiar with is like sometime back in the 20s or the 30s. There was like a school dance that was going on or something like that, and this girl, she wanted to go attend the dance, and her mom was just like so against it, and she's like, no, that dance is for the devil, and blah blah blah. So then she kind of went to her room, and then like at night she snuck out, got on her dress, and she went to the dance anyway, against her mother's wishes. So as she got to the dance, she noticed that there was a man that was there who was very like handsome or whatever, and he asked her to dance. So they started dancing, and everyone was looking at how well this couple looked while they danced and everything, and he started spinning her around, and it seemed to go like spin her around faster and faster and faster, and eventually story goes like she kind of like looked down, and people noticed too that his feet weren't feet at all. They turned into cloven hooves. And then everyone just kind of like started like, like what the hell's going on? And he started spinning her faster and faster and faster around. And he just kind of stopped her, and he turned into the devil, like the full, on devil, like the hooves, the goat legs and everything, the red skin. And everyone just kind of panicked. And so as everyone was leaving, someone said that, he spun her around one more time, and then she just like disappeared into a ball of flames. And then he stood there, smiled, and then disappeared as well. Like he just danced her into hell, kind of thing. That's like, the story is an urban legend's been told over and over again, but some of it varies here and there. So
I bet her sister, that girl's sister, was the water boy's mom. Dances are the devil.
I like Vicky Valancourt. I like her boobies.
Speaking of devil, did you ever notice how my hairline is? How it like goes in and it has like I have horns here.
It doesn't really look like you have a widow's peak like I do.
I don't. That's why look. Yeah, see, yours like goes flat and mine's like shaped in and then goes up like fucking horns on my head.
Yeah.
And then comes back down.
So you're saying you're the devil?
Or the son of.
Ooh.
So anyway, I want to ask you guys something. If there is a devil, right? What do you think? I find it so hard to believe the fucking hooves and shit like that. You know what I mean?
I think maybe at one point.
I can't even like begin like when people speak of the devil, like it doesn't scare me if they start talking about hooves and shit. Even with Sabrina, as you said, Katie, that you started watching.
Yeah.
I just can't feel it. It doesn't scare me when I see like the goat fucking devil with the.
Where does that even come from? The goat and the devil. Like I didn't really know that was a thing until American Horror Story, and now the Chilling Adventures.
Yeah.
The whole goat thing dates back like centuries, dude. Like everyone, even like depictions of like 16th or 17th century artist renderings is like the devil. He's got like goat legs and hooves, and he's always luring people into the woods and some shit like that.
Isn't the devil like a fallen angel?
Yeah, a fallen angel. So why would he look so much different?
Yeah, like why is he a goat now?
I mean,
because he's been bad.
You're. Oh my god, that's perfect.
Yeah, it just popped in my head, so I had to say it.
That's a good one.
But yeah, it really doesn't make any sense, you know. And I've heard, you know, like they say that other fucking stories, like the one you said, he starts off as like this handsome, like debonair guy. You know what I mean? And that's typically what they say. He's like this handsome guy who's like
sharply dressed.
Yeah, you know, and just, you know, he could convince you of anything basically.
You know,
has the swagger. Yeah.
That old saying, you know, like the greatest trick that the devil pulled was making people believe that he didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, I for one think he exists. I mean, I have a Mexican mother, so I was born and raised Catholic, you know. So I mean, yeah, I do believe in God, and I do believe in the devil. Like I believe in heaven.
Let me ask you this. There's not a lot of people. Never mind. I'll ask you this off. Never mind. Anyway, what do you think about, you know, like trickery? So like, you know, they say so many people sold their soul to the devil for whatever. But you know, I'm sure you've seen stories of this and stuff where it's like a person, you know, sold their soul to the devil to become rich, but they
look forever young.
They're what?
Look forever young, like Dick Clark.
Yeah, and it's just, but there's always like a catch. You know, they're super rich, but you know, they can't spend it on anything they want, type of shit. You know, there's always like a but that doesn't actually fulfill their wish. So they do it. They do it as like like a catch. You know, there's always like something. You know, like they're the best fucking guitarist, but their hands are broken. But they have the skill that they need, or they die.
Like
drama episode.
Did you hear about how Jimmy Page is like very you know, the guitarist for Led Zeppelin? You know, he's like renowned guitarist, one of the best. Everyone considers him. He had been involved in like the occult, and he started like getting really into it. So there's this thing that like everyone kind of believed eventually that he ended up buying the house that Aleister Crowley used to live at, which Aleister Crowley was a man that was around in the 40s, I think. Mm-hmm. And he was considered like the most evil man kind of thing. He was
Mr. Crowley. That's what Ozzy Osbourne's song is based on.
Yeah. So Jimmy Page ended up buying his old house and started getting really involved in the occult and everything. But it was weird because the rumor or the story goes like how all these bad things started happening to the people around him. Robert Page, I think he lost Robert Plant lost his daughter when she was younger, like very young. The bassist, what's his bassist name? John Bonham is the drummer. John
Bonham's the drummer, yeah.
Whoever the bassist is, he ended up breaking all 4 of his fingers in his hand or something like that before a really big tour.
All 4 of his fingers? Why does he only have 4?
Well, I mean, you know, that's what he plays with.
One's a thumb.
Yeah.
The thumb's a finger.
Most people.
You don't call it a finger. You don't call it your thumb finger. It's your thumb.
Kenny said I heard Angus Young sold his soul as well. Who the fuck is Angus Young?
Angus Young is the guitarist for AC/DC.
Angus McLeod.
Wait, he sold his soul too? I never heard of that one. I know, what's his name? Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Uh-huh.
He was really like, he thought that AC/DC stood for Antichrist, Devil's Child.
Uh-huh. I heard that too. And then Kiss is Kings in Satan's Service.
Really?
That's what my dad always told me. Kings in Satan's Service is Kiss. Yeah.
I thought they were just like really good businessmen. They're like Jewish rock band.
Just Jewish guys painting their faces.
Having fun, yeah. That's all they are, really. I mean, their music's great. Most people are like,
dude. So, me and Kenny are fucking huge fans of Kiss, and we went to this fucking Kiss cover band in Vegas, and it was just like, it was like a dumpy ass venue. It was so small and muggy and stuff, but we just enjoyed the shit out of that entire fucking show.
That's awesome, man. You have time to tell it again?
Go fuck yourself.
I was waiting for it. All right, so story number 2. This was actually a real story. This is an urban legend. This one takes us all the way to Ireland. This place called Loftus Hall. It's a mansion built along the coastline. I think the southern part of Ireland, I believe it is. The story goes back from the mid-1660s, so 17th century, pretty far back. The story goes that there was a very wealthy family that lived in this mansion. it was the husband, the wife, and the daughter. I think her name was Anne or something like that. So one night there's a very bad storm, very powerful storm that's happening, and there's a ship that kind of comes in and you know lands, fucking docks at the on the shoreline, whatever. But there's a single person that comes out of the ship, and it's a man, and he comes out seeking shelter. So they're like, yeah, sure, like whatever you need, like it's not considered uncommon back in those days when like shit, someone needs help, you gotta help them. Unlike today. So the guy goes in. They give him, new clothes, warm clothes, food. He ends up staying for several weeks, and he very much spends a lot of his time with the daughter. They spend a lot of time in, I think, the tapestry room is what it's called. Just that room where you just sat there and you're like, oh, kind of shit. So he ended up staying for several weeks, and he started, catching feelings for this girl. He's like, damn, girl, I like you. So one night when they had guests,
you gotta say it with the accent. I'm just saying, you gotta really feel this out. I want to feel like I'm in Ireland.
Oh, I don't want to do the accent.
I'm just kidding. All right, go ahead. So a bunch of people come over.
Yeah, actually, Josh, go ahead and pull up that picture. Let's go ahead.
Okay, are we taking a look at the exterior right now?
Yeah, that's the exterior. Then I'll tell you when to post the other one.
All right, there you go. Hooves. So there's the hole. Yeah. So, but the problem is, it doesn't look like a person went through that hole because it's like there's a hole, but there's still structure. It looks like. Kenny said that the left window that was open was giving him a bad feeling. Oh, okay. Let's take a look at that real quick. Just give me a quick yes or no in chat. Can you guys hear me? Well, I guess you can't say no in chat if you can't hear me. You see that? No, not you. The other people. David. Can you see that right there, David? That window open in the top left-hand side. Okay. I wonder if the show crashed. Well, Pierce said audio went out for him. I'm just gonna check and see if can't hear David or Katie anymore. Yep. All right. So it crashed. It's just gonna be Josh right now. Yeah. All right. Hold on. I got that. No, that's not gonna work. What'd you say? I'm on my own. On own. That's a Simpsons reference. I was gonna change you guys. Can you guys see this? Everyone says they could just hear me, but not hear you guys. So yeah, we can hear only Josh. All right. It's this fucking NDI, dude. So I'm gonna remove you guys and add you guys back and see if that wakes. Okay. What am I gonna do it through you? So that house does look pretty creeps right there. Kenny said that he would live there, and I mean, I fucking totally agree. You tell me where to sign, bud. Yeah. So if they were like, hey. Yeah, it's always that Facebook shit though. You know, you never know it's real, but they're like, yeah, you know, if you want to live in this place, you'll get X amount of money. But I mean, nobody ever fucking believes that shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you want holy water and salt? Can you guys hear them now? Let me know.
Salt is supposed to keep them out of threshold.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, like you put the border around the door to say.
Yeah, like paranormal activity, but it didn't work. That shit don't work.
That movie sucked, dude. I really like VHS. Those are better.
Dude, that was scary.
All right, looks like you guys are back on, so they could hear you good.
Where did I cut off at?
Where did you cut off? That's a great question. So I know that Kenny mentioned the window. You were talking about the devil going through the slots. And then I think that's the last thing you said. You were talking about the devil going up through the
ceiling?
In the ceiling, yeah.
Okay, so then we'll finish it off there. Devil goes through the ceiling, out through the roof. The daughter is so shook up that she just, she can't cope and she just never recovers from this. She ends up sort of going insane, and her parents sort of lock her in her room where she eventually dies in 1675 or something like that. So the story is that she also haunts that mansion now because her soul never was recovered from anything, and she never got closure or whatever the fuck.
But they also locked her in a room. Did they feed her?
Yeah.
Starved.
They fed her. And
they're like, oh, fuck you. We're just locking you up forever.
I have one more image. This is the same place?
Yeah.
This last one? Okay. Is it from the back? Like the rear view? Mirror? Okay. Yeah, more open windows there, man. That's pretty creepy. Yeah, I don't like those short guardrails. You know what I mean? If you imagine living in this fucking place, right? So you go up and you have to fix your fucking roof or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden you fucking lightning strikes and something pushes you and you fucking fall or some shit, you know?
And you have the guardrails to save you.
No, those are short guardrails.
Oh, you want longer ones? I'd prefer gargoyles just hanging out on the corners of the house, dude. I really like Gothic architecture and gargoyles. That'd be pretty sweet.
Aren't they supposed to fend off bad spirits or something? Like they had some origin like that, I thought.
I thought they
gargoyles are they're good. They're supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, they're supposed to help you fend off spirits or something. I don't know specifically what they were made for, but they're supposed to guard your building or your house or wherever they're at.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was only familiar with the Gargoyles, the TV show. I was like, oh, yeah, they got him
No, they're good. They're good people. They're good for you.
Okay, so last story of the night. This one is the most true story, and I know for a fact because this one was.
Yes.
This is the one that Josh loves. He loves for me to tell this one over and over again. There's been plenty of nights where you call me drunk, and he's like,
wait. Damn it. I'm gonna put you on speakerphone, and I need you to tell everybody the story, man. And
the weirdest thing is
I wake him up. He's like, Josh, what What story? And I'm like,
I can hear
David, you know the story.
when I'm telling the story for other people, like when he has me on speakerphone, I can hear like just it's so fucking quiet and eerie.
Oh
I'm like,
God,
are you still there?
I mean, we basically sit in like a fucking circle. You know what I mean? Like a seance. Like we all sit in a circle around the phone. We're doing everything but holding hands and just like sitting there, just focusing on in the dark too. I shut my screen off of my phone, so we just hear your voice in the dark and listen to the fucking
oh, dude.
Yeah. So if you guys are at your houses right now, I'm just gonna
turn off the lights for this one.
Turn the light off and just listen to it because of me, David has been telling this story over and over and over, so he's really honed it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fucking good story.
Okay, so this one was told to me by the person who experienced it. So this is like what, a secondhand account from someone who's experienced it, right? This person was he was dating my cousin at the time. They're not together anymore, but he told me he was born in Mexico. He's from this town called 25, which translated means 25.
I thought that meant large Starbucks drink. 5 large. All right. Anyway, just
ruining it.
Continue. All right. Start over. Start fresh. I'm gonna mute my mic. Let's do this.
The town is called 25. It's a very small town in Mexico. Is what he told me. He's like, it's so small that it's like barely even on the map. I'm like, oh, okay, but that's where he's from. He says they call it 25 or 25 because there's only 25 families that live in this town. And he told me the story about how his town, every night, they would see the devil. And I'm like, what do you mean they'd see the devil? He's like, oh no, it's like every night at midnight, you would see the devil pushing his cart. He was looking for, a brick. I was like, a brick? Well, what are you talking about? So he told me the story about how this town came to be plagued by the devil every night. The story goes back to, like, I think the 1800s or 1700s, something like way, way long ago. There was a man who lived in the town. He would go out and drink, and in order for him to get back into town, the river kind of runs through it. So he'd have to walk all the way around the river in order to get across. There was no bridge. And so one night, this man was very drunk and very angry, and he started, just cursing and swearing. He's like, oh, fuck, someone needs to put a fucking bridge here, and goddamn it, goddamn this, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, just belligerent, making nonsense. He sees a man sitting in the middle of the river. And he's too drunk to really think straight. He's like, thinks nothing of it. And the man says, hey. He's like, what? He's like, I'll make you a deal. He's like, I'll build you a bridge, and I could do it before dawn. And the man is very drunk again, so he's like, yeah, right, whatever. He's like, I'll bet your soul on it. The old man says, yeah, sure, why not? See what you got. So out of nowhere, a pile of bricks shows up right next to the old man. And this man that was in the middle of the river is right next to him. And right away he starts going to work by himself, running back and forth, brick by brick, making it all happen. The bridge is starting to form. The man is there watching him do this. And he's starting to sober up, and he's starting to think, holy shit, I just made a deal with the devil, and I can't back out now. Like, there's nothing he can do. So it's almost dawn. The old man gets the idea he's going to steal a brick from the pile and just run into town and hide it. So he does. So the bridge is almost complete. It's enough for him to cross. So he just kind of goes behind the devil's back and runs across into town and hides the brick. To this day, no one knows where this brick is, but every single night at midnight, to this day, the devil comes lurking and walks the town looking for that missing brick. And I asked him, he was like, hey, what was it? Like an old man and just look at it. He's like, nope. He's like, it was the devil. He's like, cloven feet, the goat legs, the red skin, the horns, the tail, everything. And he's pushing this cart, and he's just looking around for this brick. He's on every night, like around 11:30. He's like, I remember every night, everybody in town would be inside because you could hear him. You can hear the cloven hooves on the fucking cobblestone road or shit, just clonking away looking for that missing brick. But that is a real fucking true story. There's a lot of crazy shit that happens out in Mexico. There's so many weird shit that happens out in Mexico. It's nuts.
That's where they grow all the peyote,
Something.
There's just something not scary to me about the cloven hooves thing. I just like when you were telling me the story about the girl who went under the table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
The girl who went under the table and saw his feet. You know, like I was just thinking like they couldn't hear him walking around like he was wearing fucking high heels. Like,
Well, he only exposes himself. I'm pretty sure he can like hide it. So if he's hiding it, he's like it's essentially like sucking it in. Like, but then if no one's looking at his feet, he's like, oh, okay, I can kind of let it out now.
So he was just having a relaxing dinner. And he was like, oh.
Yeah. Like I can put my feet up. Like,
just sits there and just crosses them. Oh man, yeah, that's a story. That's a good story. So you have to listen to that one. I mean, in the fucking dark, so you just you picture it all. You know.
But that is a very true story. That person, I was looking at him while he was telling me, and he was just turning white. Like he's seen the devil as a kid growing up every fucking night.
So you're saying one of these days you need to go to that town.
I want to go to that town so badly and just kind of see for myself.
Have you ever tried like looking it up to see if there were accounts of it or anything like that?
I tried looking it up too. I can't even find the town like on the map or anything. I could see where the river would run through, but it's such a small town. There's only 25 families.
Yeah.
So I tried looking for there's pictures of around the town.
How long can a town with 25 families survive without getting into incest? That's not a lot of people.
Well, I mean, really jackrabbits, so I mean, I think you're good. I mean, the town has to expand somehow, right? I think people probably just move out of it or something. I don't know. Yeah. They're like, yeah, fuck this town. The devil comes here. Fuck it.
Maybe that's why it's not 25 because like another family joined. you need to start changing that number up a little bit.
26 now. Shit.
It could be 18. Maybe some people are sick of seeing the devil.
Yeah, right. The fucking book up and left, the whole ghost town.
I don't know, man. For some reason, I have more of a fear of like, spirits and stuff, like fucking like ghosts, like than I do like the devil, like a physical
manifestation.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know why though. Why would that be?
Don't scare me either. It's the
Why would the leader not scare you as much as the fucking pawns?
I think maybe it's because of the fact that you don't see it. Like your imagination is running wild. Like you kind of, if you see it, you're like, oh, okay, it's there. Okay, I can do one thing or another, just move away or fight back or whatever. But if it's something that you can't physically see or touch or whatever, then it becomes a bit more psychological and a bit more scary, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's natural.
For me, it's the rage, like the like mad ghosts, or the ones that have like vendettas or have like a bone.
Poltergeists.
Yeah. Those are what.
I found a new fear that I didn't have.
Sharks.
No. So for some reason it's puppets. Let me. I need to really specify. I need to really specify this because Jeff Dunham shit. I'm fine. I'll watch fucking Pinocchio. I'll have a what's it called? I'll have a what the fuck? It starts with an M. What the fuck word am I thinking?
Marionette.
Marionette. Yes, thank you.
What
the fuck is crazy? A marionette is like the puppets with the strings and like.
Oh, those are
what Pinocchio is before he got de-stringed, I suppose.
Yeah.
Benicio.
De-strung. Anyway, I was watching. This is just gonna sound fucking wimpy, no matter how I say it. But I was watching an episode of SpongeBob, and it was a Halloween episode, and a lot of it was like stop motion animation, right? And there's a time where they go through these like tunnels, kind of like a mine, so they're on this like ride. It feels like a Halloween ride or whatever. And there's these puppets that are like goblin puppets and shit like that. The thing that creeps me out about it is the thought of a puppet that would require somebody to moving on its own. You know what I mean? But it's like specifically like a felt.
Can't someone's moving it.
Yes, exactly. Like it wouldn't be like you with a puppet, like, "Hey, Josh, I'm gonna get you." Like that shit wouldn't.
But if I took my hands away, it'd be like, it's still moving.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it just fucking creeped me out, dude. I don't know. It's just, I guess, something that has the ability to move itself. I don't know. It
Things
just
don't have the ability
really
to move itself.
weirded me out. There was, I want to say it's is it Labyrinth?
What? The movie?
There's a movie that has like these little like goblin things that like switch heads, and it was a Jim Henson thing. I think it was Labyrinth, where they're singing, I think, and then like they take their head and they pass it to the next head and shit, and like there are these like weird, like tree creatures.
So does stop motion animation films scare you because essentially are puppets that are not being?
No, not at all.
I mean, think about it. Like you got to move them, but then individually like frame to make it seem like as if they have lifelike qualities. Those don't scare you. They're puppets.
Was it not Labyrinth? I think. Oh, yep. It was these things. The Fireys. The Fireys on Labyrinth.
Wait, Labyrinth with David Bowie? You were afraid of the Goblin King?
David Bowie.
David Bowie. It's 1986's David Bowie from the movie Labyrinth.
I don't know if I spelled this right, but I got him. So can you guys see what I'm looking at here?
I cannot.
All right, I'm gonna get it on screen so I could show you. I don't know. Hold on. I'm gonna find a creepy photo first, like the creepiest one I could see, so you guys will agree with me.
My candles are.
Your candles are running low. Then you're gonna be.
Oh no! You're gonna be in the dark.
Yeah, that's all right.
Did you ever see the movie Dead Silence? Speaking of puppets,
yes, I love that movie.
That one freaked me out. Those fucking puppets. She has that wall of puppets, and they all just start turning their heads. Oh my god, nope.
The lady freaked me out.
Oh yeah, that was freaky.
I went and saw it with my friend Omar at the time, and I didn't know that he had this like Josh. He has like this terrifying fear of puppets, and I was like trying to scare him like during the movie. And he's like, just cringing in his seat. He's like, dude, fucking stop. I'm like, what? What's wrong? It's just a movie. He's like, no. He's like, puppets to me are what sharks are to you. I was like, oh shit, dude, I'm sorry. It's like, damn.
All right, I'm gonna transition into this real quick so you guys can see it. But I just chose one photo. If you guys have seen Labyrinth, you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. But here's the photo right there. Can you guys see that? Yeah, those are the things that I was talking about. So those of you guys who, I think that there's an issue with me putting an image on screen. I think that's why they can't hear you, is when an image is on screen for some reason, they can't hear you. So I'm going to transition back real quick, and I'm going to get rid of this image. But yeah, that's those things. I don't know why, but those things fucking creeped me out.
It looks like the salacious bee crumb that looks like it hangs around Jabba the Hutt's tail. Like, ooh da, ooh da.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like it's from Star Wars.
Well, it's because Jim Henson, he's all about both of them.
I actually haven't seen Labyrinth, so...
Watch it. That's your homework. Watch Labyrinth, and then watch Flight of the Conchords episode where Jermaine plays David Bowie.
David Bowie, yeah.
You're gonna want to watch both. Yeah.
Okay, will do.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what really creeped me out about that, but it's really it's not puppets. So there's not really a way you could get me with this, because like it's got to be creepy looking puppets that are creepy to me, because creepy to other people aren't really the same thing. But creepy looking puppets that are creepy to me that are
creepy to you though.
Moving by themselves. I don't know. It's just it's too hard.
They don't have to look to them.
There's just something about those specific characters in this movie that just really weirded me out. And there's only it's few and far between, but there are some that creep me out. I don't know.
Good to know.
Anyway, back to you, David.
Well, I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was all I had for today.
Cool.
So, I mean, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys really enjoyed the show. There are going to be plenty of more episodes like this. I want to try and do it 2 episodes a month, so once every 2 weeks. And try to keep it, obviously creepy and weird themed and everything like that.
I'll try to keep my jokes to a minimum. At the very least, I'm going to clip this show put it on Speakeasy Gentlemen, and then insert my joke. Just whenever I'm just gonna like play a little bit of the video, and then just be like, "That's what she said." You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll try to keep it. You know, I'll try to tune down the Josh every now and then.
But I mean, try to keep this going for I don't know, about 10 episodes, I guess, and then I'll take a break. But you could always go back and touch back on different themes or subjects anyway. And again, if you guys want to be a guest on the show, which I need. If you guys have stories that you would like to tell that you feel comfortable with, instances or you felt, weird presences or whatever, Josh, how do they contact us?
So you can always contact us on Facebook at the Speakeasy Gentleman, of course. PajashPodcast@gmail.com will get to us also. And then we're creating a unique podcast, or a unique email, sorry. That'll take you... Unique?
Unique.
Snip. We'll create a unique one that's fairly simple and straightforward, so you guys can book for either show. Actually, we have 3 shows now, so I know a lot of people want on the gaming show. There's definitely some people who wouldn't be on Speakeasy Gentlemen or gaming that want to be part of the creepy show, and all around.
Perfect.
So it's gonna be good. So David, I will not see you this Sunday because you won't be part of the show. So.
Be busy, yes.
Yeah, we have my sister and cousin Kevin, so it's going to be a great show. Kenny actually forwarded us something that I'm going to send to you.
Okay.
And it's something, a topic for next week, or not next week, 2 weeks from now, just in case you want it. So let's see, we're doing Tuesdays, right?
Yes, sir.
So, November 13th. The 13th is your next episode. So if you guys want to be on the episode of the 13th, we'll get this technology shit figured out. I got to spend a little more time. We're going to come with an updated set. So right now this set is just what we got working right now, but it'll be updated next episode. So.
Oh, so you weren't joking. I thought you did finish it.
No, I did not finish this. I did this last minute yesterday. We hit a pothole, so I was changing a tire at like 10:30, something like that at night.
You were driving too.
I wasn't driving. I was driving Ricky crazy while she hit the pothole. But I'll get this cleaned up. We'll get some window sills around us or something. David's up in the attic, so anyway.
That's where all the ghosts.
Yeah, it'll be great. So we'll give David a couple weeks so he has time to prep for the show, and then we're gonna continue. Yeah. So do you want David? Let's do a lights out.
Yeah, lights out, and then we'll cut it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, 3,
guys,
2.
voting. Nevermore narrative. 3, 2, 1.